All right, what's up, algebra? We're nearly there. We're still reviewing. This is reviewing on factoring and kind of multiplying some stuff together as well. So remember, the key to factoring is we kind of want to think along the lines of reverse distribution. In other words, I want to look for stuff that both terms share. So let's take a look at the first example here, 6x minus 6. What is the number that they have in common? It's a 6. So I'm going to pull a 6 out. And now I have to have a set of parentheses. When I take 6 away from 6x, what am I left with? Just the x, right? Hopefully you agree with me. Because 6 times x is 6x. 6 times what is negative 6? It's a negative 1. So that's the factored form of that guy right there. Now let's take a look at the right example, 12s plus 4. What's the largest number that the two numbers have in common? They have to be in common. Some of you just like to write the biggest number and be done with it. That's not what we do. We have to look at both numbers, the 12 and the 4, and ask ourselves, what is the largest number that they share? And you'll see that 4 is the largest number that they share. Now, 4 times what equals 12? That's 3. And I still have the s there because it was 12s, right? Now, 4 times what equals 4? That's a positive 1. And again, how can you check to make sure that that is actually the answer? You distribute it. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6, so we're good there. 4 times 3s is 12s. 4 times 1 is 4. We're good on both times. So yeah, awesome. Now I want to factor these ones. I want to factor out a variable this time. Normally when we factor, we want to first ask ourselves, okay, is there any number that, for instance, 12 and 13 share? Is there any number that they share? Well, you could say 1, which, I mean, that's true for every number. But for us, not good enough. Now I look, okay, how many variables does each one have? Well, I see the 12 has 2 w's and the 13 has 1 w. Would you agree with me that both terms have at least 1 w? Yeah, hopefully you do anyway. So I'm going to factor out a w. And I draw my set of parentheses. When I take 1w away from w squared, I'm left with 1w. So I've got 12w here. When I take 1w away from the 1w and 13w, I'm just left with 13. Man, I'm saying w a lot, aren't I? There we go. Now, let's look at the example on the right. 4f squared plus 15f. Do they have a number that the two share? The answer is no. They don't. Now we look at the variable. Can I factor out a variable? Yes. Each of them have at least one f, so I'm going to factor out the f. When I take 1f away from f squared, I'm left with 1f, so I've got 4f in there. When I take the f away from 15f, I'm left with just 15. And there we go. That's factoring there. Now here, I want to factor out both a number and a variable if I can. Let's take a look at 3w squared plus 6w. Let's look at the numbers first. Do 3 and 6 share a number? The answer is yes, they share a 3. Now we can actually go a step further. Both of them have at least 1 w, right? So I'm going to have to factor out a w. And there we go. So let's start factoring away. I took the 3 out of 3w squared, so I know I don't have a 3 in my parentheses. I took 1w away from my w squared, so I have 1w in my parentheses. 3 times what is 6w? 3 times what is 6? Let's just start with there. 3 times what is 6? That's a positive 2. Do I need to put a w in there? Nope. 6w has 1w in there, and I already factored out 1w. So we're good. That's it. Boom. Now, let's look at 8c squared plus 20c. We ask ourselves, what is the largest number that both numbers share? 2 is not large enough. Because if you factor out a 2, you can see you could factor something else out too. Could 4 work? Well, let's see. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 5 is 20. Can I go any bigger than that? Can I do like 6 or 8 or 10? Nope. 4 is the largest number. Now, 4 times what is 8? That's 2, like I said. Am I missing something? Maybe you caught it, maybe you didn't. I forgot to factor out a c. Why do I have to factor out a c? Because both of them have at least one c. So I factor out the 4c. I don't know what that was supposed to be. I think that was supposed to be a c. There we go. So 4 times 2 is 8. C times c is c squared, so we're good there. 4 times what is 20? That's a positive 5. Do I need to write a c there? Nope. 20c has only one c right behind it, and I already factored out one c out in the front, so we're good. Now, I thought I created another slide, but I want to show you one other thing. Remember how to multiply different variables together? Like, I'm just going to spitball some numbers. Let's say 3a, not plus, 3a times 4b times 8c. So, like I said, we need to multiply the numbers together first. So 3 times 4 times 8, that's 12 times 8, which is 96. So you multiply all three of the numbers together first, and then you just list the variables behind it, A, B, C. So you're going to see some stuff. You're going to see, I think, 2 questions like that on your final. Let's do one more, just to be sure that we got it. But I think pretty much everybody got this on the test. So let's say I do 2x times 5y times 6z. Multiply the numbers together first. 2 times 5 times 6, that's 60. And then just list the variables behind it, x, y, z. And there we go. And that'll be it for the review, you guys. So you should have a packet by this point. Make sure you are doing the packet, and please make sure you're asking questions if you need to ask questions. You got 4 of us here to Zoom with you if you need the help. So anyway, we're going to leave you to it. Thank you guys for watching, and happy studying.